Witness is here to testify in favor of House Bill 485. Make sure you submit your witness form and state your name. You can proceed when you're ready.
Submitted online. Thank you, Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Susan Myers of the 131st. And as someone who carries concealed not only for my own protection, but also as that of my church family as a leader of our volunteer safety team, I am in wholehearted support of this bill, and I thank the sponsor for continuing to shepherd this legislative change. Many opposed to HB 485 argue that the state should not enact regulations interfering with church control or separation of church and state. But what they are missing, whether intentionally or not, is that the bill indeed does just exactly what they proclaim to wish for. The mention of churches and other places of worship would be removed from current statute, thus leaving it up to each church to act as any and every other private property has the right to do, decide for themselves whether or not to allow concealed firearms in their place of worship. And since permitless carriers get treated like second-class citizens around here, I want to personally add that the ban on those without permits has had a direct impact on who I am able to utilize as armed team members. I organized a concealed carry class, and I watched everyone that participated qualify. I know who's capable and who has the right temperament, but due to some being unable to afford Greene County's higher fee, they have yet to obtain the permit. They have to go on the background check to be part of our team anyway. So your statute is standing in the way of my ability to select the best persons to serve in this vital role, and I have a problem with that. While I would be pleased to continue sharing reasons that I hold my stance, last June's Bruin decision by the Supreme Court clearly spelled out that I no longer have to do so. The court held that a restriction of gun rights may be upheld only if the government can prove it is part of a historical tradition consistent with the Second Amendment. Given that at the time of our founding there were actual mandates for men to bring arms with them to church to protect the people, I don't see it faring well if the current statute were to be challenged. And that's before even touching on how it might violate the First Amendment's religious implications. As an example, last December, Judge John Sinatra of the Western District of New York found the state's ban unconstitutional. In his Second Amendment analysis of New York's church ban, Sinatra found, "No proper analogy to sensitive places exists in this case," he wrote, "and the nation's history does not countenance such an incursion into the right to keep and bear arms across all houses of worship across the state. The right to self-defense is no less important and no less recognized at these places. The Constitution requires that individuals be permitted to use handguns for the core lawful purpose of self-defense, and it protects the right outside the home and in public."
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions for this witness for the members of the committee?